Today we will be learning the area of triangles and trapezoids. Follow along with me, and you can pause the video if you need to so that you can stay caught up. You will probably want highlighters, some different colors of highlighters, just to highlight bases and heights of the different triangles or trapezoids. We're going to start with our formula today. And if you look at your formula chart or your reference materials, you can notice that area of a triangle formula is under the area section of your formula chart. And it states that the area is equal to half of your base times your height. Half of your base times your height. In elementary school, you may have also learned it as area equals base times height divided by 2. These are the same exact formula. Whenever I divide something by 2, it's the same thing as cutting it in half. So anywhere in the problem, sometime by the end of the problem, you have to have cut some number in half before you can finish the triangle. Now let's write the trapezoid formula. On the trapezoid formula, it's a little bit different. It says area equals half, but it has parentheses, base 1 plus base 2, all times the height. So we have half BH, base times height, for triangle, but for trapezoid, we have the same thing. However, there's a B1 and a B2. The next question says, what is the only difference between these two formulas? Well, both of our trapezoid and our triangle have half. They both have half. They also both have a height. They both have a height. But if you notice, a triangle only has one single base. One single base. But a trapezoid has two bases that you get to combine. So the difference between the two formulas is a triangle has one base and trapezoids have two bases. And those bases are actually the top and the bottom. There is no top of a triangle. All there is at the top of a triangle is a point. But on a trapezoid, you actually have a top and a bottom base. So if you want to write that out to the side, top and bottom. Those are the two bases of the trapezoid, the top and the bottom, that never touch. They're parallel to one another. So let's go through our formula and make sure we know what each letter stands for. A stands for area. Area. And you've learned that for a while in elementary school. This is just kind of a review. The little b, the lowercase b, stands for the base of the figure, the bottom of the 2D shape. H stands for height. The height of the figure, base and height. And we need both of those letters to be able to calculate the area. Just a reminder, when all of these are touching side by side, that just means multiplication until you get to the end and you can take half by dividing by 2. So let's label the parts of the triangles. I'm going to do one, and you can label the base and height that you feel would be on this one. So if I look at this shape, the bottom of the triangle would be side DF, because that's the base of it. But I don't go to the doctor and stand crooked when I go to measure my height. I never lean backwards or lean forwards when I want to measure a height. So if I have two slanted sides, then there will always be a height that's kind of invisible that goes down the middle of the triangle. It's always going to make a little right angle in the corner. So this is my base, and this imaginary little line would be my height. If you don't know what these little tick marks mean, these little dashes, that just means this side is exactly the same as this side. They're congruent. Same with their bottom base angles. They're the same exact angle down here at the bottom. This is called an isosceles triangle. An isosceles triangle. If you look at this one though, this one has a 90-degree angle. And it doesn't say that any of the sides are the same, but this one has a 90-degree angle. So this would be called a right triangle. And I want you to highlight or label where you think the base and the height would go on this one, since it's perfectly straight and already has the right angle. This one did not have the right angle and you had to draw it for yourself. Now let's go to a trapezoid. A trapezoid has a base on bottom, a base across the bottom, same as the triangle. However, it also has a base along the top, because I could flip this over and it technically could sit on that straight edge as well. So this is my base 1 and my base 2. You could have them flip-flopped if you want to call this one base 1 and that one base 2. That's totally okay. You have two bases, a top and a bottom. My height is my checkered line right down the middle because it is perpendicular to my bases. That means it makes this right angle. So this is equal to my height. So I have my two bases and my height. Same thing as this one, but a triangle has two bases. This has also got two angles down here that are exactly the same. So that also means my two sides are the same. This is called an isosceles trapezoid. If I were to take this top away, these lines would keep going all the way and form a triangle that had an equal two sides. Now you try this one. Look for the right angle to see where your base and height would be. This one right here is not an isosceles trapezoid because this side is not equal to that side. This is called a right trapezoid. So this is a right triangle and this is a right trapezoid because this one has a second base up here. So you can highlight those and label those. Let's try two examples together and then you're going to finish the notes on your own. We're going to try this one that says we do, and then you're going to try that one. So this is a triangle. This is a triangle. So I need my triangle formula because I want to find area. Area of a triangle formula, if you look back up here at the top, it's half of your base times your height. So I'm going to come down here and do half base times height. And I'm going to highlight where is my base, where is my height. My base is always what the triangle sits on. And the height should always be perpendicular to it. That forms the right angle. Here's my height. They always should intersect each other. So this one is my height. This one is my base. If you want to write it out to the side, just to make sure you know which two numbers you need, then that might help you plug your numbers straight into your formula. So I would write 1/2 times my base is 4 times my height is 6. So I would say 4 times 6 is 24. And I want to take half of 24. Taking half of 24 just means I'm cutting it into two equal parts. So if I take 24 and divide it by two equal parts, that would be 12. So my answer, my area would be 12. And how I write that is 12 centimeters squared. Just like with circles or rectangles, you still have to write squared units because you're covering the triangle. Now you're going to try that one. It looks very similar on your paper. But we're going to go on to a trapezoid example and then you can go back and practice. So let's flip the page and we're going to try the first trapezoid that we see. This one right here is a triangle And this is a triangle. So we're going to go to a trapezoid. And we're going to turn our paper so that we can highlight our sides, because this trapezoid is going up and down. Because see, these little arrows mean that the parallel lines, the top and bottom, are going up and down. So I'm going to turn it sideways, and we're going to highlight our base and our height. Trapezoids have 2 bases, 1, 2. And then our height would be 9, because we have the little right angle in this corner right here. So I have my base 1 and my base 2 and my height of how tall from top to bottom. And I'm going to use these 3 numbers right here. I'm going to use those to write all my information down. I'm going to turn my paper back the way up and down, and I'm going to say my base 1 is 10. My second base is 18. And my height is 9. I have all the 3 numbers that I'm going to need. I'm going to write my formula. A equals 1/2. Instead of just writing B times H, I have 2 bases. So I have to write base 1 plus base 2 times my height. So order of operations states we're going to have to do parentheses first, but I got to put my numbers where I think they go in this. So I would say 1/2 times base 1 is 10, plus my bottom base is 18, and my height is 9. So let's do PEMDAS, parentheses first. 10 plus 18 makes 28. And I want to times that now by 9. And then we'll talk about taking half. So 28 times 9, if I come over here and I do that, 8 times 9 is 72. 18 plus 7 is 25. And I get 252. But remember, I'm not done because there still is a half. So I want to take half of 252. So I could take that and divide it out to the side. 252 divided by 2, that's 1. That's 2 to make 4. And the last number, 2, goes into 12 6 times. So if I found the area of the whole trapezoid, it would be 126 meters squared. You would still do the same thing on the one next to it right here. Same thing. Or you also have an example of 2 triangles with a square in the middle. So you could do the area like that, but I'd like you to practice it as a trapezoid across the bottom. And then you have a trapezoid and a triangle, and a trapezoid and a triangle. So you're going to try a few of each one of these shapes. We would like you to try some of these and get them checked. Thank you. Don't forget to do your 3 steps. Make sure you have a formula. Make sure you plug your numbers in, and then you solve it. All 3 steps before getting checked.